Let's see.
Slowly, Pyrrah is becoming best girl, to me at least.
Is that like going to be your beginning part where?
Dude,
like,
don't
that leads
meta.
into the.
Don't get meta. Don't start talking about that.
Hey everyone.
But it used to be Blake, and then Pyrrah tied, and now Pyrrah's slowly pulling ahead, very slightly. I was on Reddit yesterday because I don't work at my work, and I went to the anime subreddit, and the post was like, so what does best girl mean? And I clicked on it, and then the description is like, so is it like your favorite character, or the girl who deserves to win most in the harem, or the cutest girl? And I shit you not, I sat there for 1 hour contemplating what the fuck best girl is, and I still don't know what it is.
Neither do I. So,
but I can say what best girl is, and Pyrrah is pretty much best girl now. Welcome to RWBYcast. Episode, again, I never look.
It's 6 and 7.
6 and
Since
7
we missed last week.
For episodes 6 and 7 RWBY, Burning the Candle, and Dance Infiltration. Was that really the title?
Yes,
That was
it
a
is.
very funny fucking title. Alright, so yeah, we missed last week.
I was lazy. I like to sleep a lot.
Joey had school, and I had work. It just wasn't possible. Yeah. See, I was don't self-deprecate. I was going to do equal parts of blame. So, we're going to be covering last week's episode first, and then obviously go into the next one. So let's just start with discussion. So at this point, like, a good part of the humor in RWBY is meta humor, right? Like, this is jokes that were birthed by the community and exists in other mediums. Like, the trap card, you've activated my trap card, is obviously a reference to Yu-Gi-Oh! Mm-hmm. And the laser pointer is obviously reference to everyone making fan art once they found out that Blake was a Faunus.
Well, laser pointer is reference to cat things.
Yeah, well, cat things, but, I mean, that's because people started doing cat things once they found out that Blake was a cat.
Yeah, so...
So, like... Did you... I totally lost my shit during that part. Like, I was laughing, like, probably too hard.
Wait, on what part?
During the laser pointer part.
I was like... I started laughing as soon as I saw the little red dot. I'm like, I just started laughing. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Like, the second it appeared, I'm like, oh, what? And then she freaks out, and then she starts chasing it, and I'm like, this can't be happening. This is impossible. No. Like... It's funny, and I know that Blake was in a really weird, like, not mood, but, like, just...
She was highly stressed out and stuff.
Physically was in a very bad mood, or bad state.
She looked like shit, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, doesn't that, like, speak oddly to her character that she can get tricked by something like that?
I didn't really... I think she got, like, offended by it. And she just started following it just so she could find the person who's doing it.
Because she never once looked up to see who did it. She was just constantly looking at the dot.
No, she looked behind her, but... Because she thought...
I mean, like, once she started chasing it.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. That seems golden. Okay, so a lot of times, we've actually been contacted by... Or at least I have. Also, it's been in comments. People have said, like... They find it odd that we actually praise the writing in the show because a lot of people feel that it is the weaker part. And I don't think that's the case for this season, but that's besides the point.
I have some things that get to you on the visual part in episode 7.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. But in terms of the comedic writing, the comedic writing in RWBY has always been its stronger point. Mm-hmm. Even the visual gags... The small little jokes, just even the comedic writing itself. Like I don't want to have special knees. I just want to have normal knees. Like, that joke was still really funny. And it's easily the best part about RWBY, and it is much more obvious this season. The recurring jokes, like Weiss being an ice queen.
I would like to point out the best part of RWBY is Professor Port.
Shut up. And even the point of the villain Torchwick calling Weiss the Ice Queen, like that. Like I was laughing so hard when that happened. Like comedic writing in RWBY is always been very solid, and I don't think it will ever be bad because basically Miles has been trained in Red versus Blue to have very good comedic writing in terms of like just basically one-liners, which are less prevalent in RWBY because there's a lot more to work with since they actually control everything in that world.
Yeah, I mean, like in Red versus Blue, he came in with like, well, Red versus Blue. Basically, you have the Halo storyline, which they touch upon briefly, and then they sort of set up their own world, but it's still in the Halo universe. This is completely new, so.
And there's not like a lot of things you can do in terms of visual gags in Red versus Blue, especially since anything added externally kind of feels weird. Like you couldn't do like remember in season 6 where the cardboard like versions of all the Red Soldiers pop up.
Visual gags.
So like that's a visual gag that but that doesn't happen that often in that, and that only works because of how dumb Sarge is that he would do something like that. And usually when they do visual gags, they actually have to do stuff in engine, like in season, I want to say 3 or 4, it's probably 4, when they're having the contest for who's going to be Sarge's next right-hand man.
Go wrench, guys.
And they had to superimpose a skull and a wrench that was actually from Halo into it so that it wouldn't look weird. Because
wait. The wrench wasn't actually a part of it.
It wasn't? Oh, no. Okay, I'm totally. But the skull definitely was.
I literally just watched, like, this past 2 weeks, I've been watching Red vs. Blue and the commentaries with them, and they're talking about it, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, this week, get through Tep and Top and Gurren Lagann, because, oh god, Kill la Kill's over. I'm so sad. Yeah. So yeah, comedic writing, great. Blanking on name, not Carrie, Miles. Miles is really fucking great at it. So let's go into more comedic things. The Jaune and Ren thing.
I just thought there was episode 6 was like just the hilarious part, and then it was just like a really sad, depressing kind of part.
Yeah, it was an episode filled with emotion.
Yes, emotion.
But yeah, so I really like the fact that Ren doesn't ever talk.
Which is like Monty, I guess.
I swear to God, like in terms of the whole entire show, Ren has said like less than probably 10 sentences.
Yeah, he's...
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you! that was from the library.
Yeah, I know.
Anyone didn't get out the reference.
And the whole there's odd character information in this, the fact that Nora and Ren aren't going out, but I think we already knew that.
Yeah, I remember, I'm not sure if it was you or someone else who got pissed off a lot because there was that whole, like, they're childhood friends, and if they grow up together, they're not really like...
Okay, no. I would not be pissed off about that since I read a shit ton of manga, and that is...
Okay,
like
it's someone else then, because like there's some scientific principle which is like if two people grow up together, they don't actually, like, it's very rare of them to date. Just like if I don't know, it's just really stupid, but
it's the same reason why like you aren't attracted to a sibling.
Yes, it's basically that, and I don't know. I just thought it was funny that Jaune thought that, and Nora was sitting like right next to them with
the headphones on. Oh my god, that was amazing.
He was like, Nora, I said headphones on. It's like, oh, yeah. Sorry.
That also brought up I think this is the first time we've actually been in the room and how weird it is that it is 2 guys and 2 girls living in one room. Yeah,
I'm like, I thought there would be like a divider or something, but I'm not going to get into it. It's just weird, but yeah.
Yeah, so I just go to the next part with RWBY Yang information. So this was just the info dump that everyone wanted, since the Ruby Yang sister thing has been like one of the most asked questions, like completely. So since it was last week, I'm a little sketchy on the things, but essentially,
go ahead.
It was already confirmed that Ruby and Yang share a common father.
Yes.
They have different mothers, but we didn't really know anything past that. I think Monty confirmed earlier that Ruby's mother was Summer Rose.
Yeah, he did it at some point. I don't remember when, but
probably in a tweet or something.
Yeah.
So that, I think that was pretty much the only information we knew. So some of the information we gained was that Yang's mother was first. Yang didn't know that her mother died. So Yang probably does.
I have a like. Do you think her mother is dead or like captured or something?
Honestly, I have no opinion on that right now.
Okay, because I'll get into that later.
Yang grew up not knowing that she had her mother was gone. So she probably does have some type of maternal attachment to Summer.
Yeah.
Because without knowing that that would have been a thing. It's also weird that Yang keeps her mother's name of Xiaolong. Yeah. Probably something she chose to do after she found out that her mother was gone.
I also have something to say about that. Xiaolong, I've looked up on like Google and Wikipedia and stuff. I'm trying to find out like a famous person who's had that name. And Xiaolong is a little dragon, which is Bruce Lee's screen name. There is Xiaolong Bao.
I forgot.
Yeah, and there's like, I guess Xiaolong, like whoever it is, like Little Dragon, Bruce Lee. Yang seems to sort of fight with her fists more, and that kind of just reminds me of like martial arts and stuff. So it feels like Yang's mom is like also sort of a fist fighter, except not.
I'm probably going to go against you on that, since it's quite obvious that Yang is based off of boxing.
Yeah, I know that, but it just feels like I don't know. I really
so
don't know
you're
anymore.
just creating a crazy, or not a crazy theory, but more like inferring.
Yeah.
That because of her name, she's probably a martial artist.
Yeah, because just because of Bruce Lee, really. So.
I don't remember, but did young Yang have her fist gauntlets?
At the time, no.
Okay. Another thing about that, Joey and I were talking about this before. I think we talked about this. How we said that we like the initial form of storytelling in the first episode, the very pop-up book type of thing. And how it was kind of weird that we never revisited that until we started getting the World of Remnant episodes.
I don't remember ever talking about this, but
yeah, continue. I guess we didn't talk about this. I might have talked with someone else, but essentially, RWBY starts off as a pop-up book, narrated by Cortana.
Jen Taylor.
And and it was very, very unique in terms of the first episode because you never see that type of thing ever again.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this in the Dust episode.
So it was just, although Yang's flashback wasn't 100% like the pop-up book, because usually the pop-up book just used blank silhouettes, and then panning and stuff like this, and this was more like a children's book because it was colored and it had like slightly rougher art. It's a third type of it's a third artistic type of storytelling they've used in the show so far,
which is the normal style, that style, and is it like the anime moments?
No, actually, if you're gonna say the anime moments, that'd be 4 then, because it would be pop-up book, children's book, because I would still argue that those styles are radically different than the normal style, and then the anime style. Well, the anime style happened like once, and then you could also argue RWBY thinking about who to partner up with, which was Jordan's style, the animated adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Which in hindsight, it's such a weird thing to insert. Like, it's just, look, Jordan animated this part.
I want to see that happen again.
Yeah, if it's going to happen once, it should happen multiple times. But yeah, it feels weird that they're incorporating so many various styles of art. Like, I never think that individually they're bad, but when you look in the big picture, that they've incorporated like 5 art styles in different ways of storytelling, it just feels
weird.
It just feels a little odd. It's not bad, but it's just a thing that like stands out to me. If they start doing this in the way of anytime there's heavy amounts of exposition, we use the storybook type. Anytime there's a flashback, we use the children's book type. Then I'll be fine with that because it'll be consistent. Anytime someone thinks of something dumb, we'll use Jordan's art to illustrate that. But yeah, and it was just a weird thing I noticed. It's really not an issue. It's just, wow, they're using so many different types of visuals here.
To me, it just doesn't really matter. I don't really notice that kind of thing. So I want to... We learned some other things during that, like like the Children Yang storytelling thing.
Yeah.
Father teaches at Signal. We did not know that before. We knew Crow taught at Signal. So... Also, the team. We've learned that it was Ruby and Yang's father, Summer Rose, and Yang's mom and Crow were all on the same team. Which leads me to... Do you think Crow and Yang's, like, the father, are they actual brothers? Or are they, like, sort of, like, not really related by blood, but, like...
In-laws?
No, not in-laws, but like honorary uncle, which is like...
Oh, so like the Asian thing. Or like any one of my dad's friends is an uncle to me.
Okay, I didn't really know that's an Asian thing, but...
It's not really an Asian thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just not a white person thing.
Yeah. I don't really have honorary uncles, but I'm familiar with the concept.
My dad's best friend, I call him, the Filipino word for uncle, I call him that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It feels like since Ruby's family is the only family that has like a big family theme with them. Ruby and Yang are sisters. They're looking for their lost mother. Ruby was taught by her uncle. Since it's a big family thing, they're probably brothers. They're probably related.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just curious. And,
I would totally see them doing that.
I also have a crazy theory about their team name.
What is it?
If you've looked at my notes, Brian, you will see.
Okay. The Eye.
Wait, what?
Is it the Eye? No, is it?
No.
What am I reading? There's so many notes here, dude.
Okay, don't worry about it. No, I'll get to it.
Okay.
So. Basically, I just bumped my table. So we came out of that story with like we learned some things. Do you think? Yeah, I had so many things to talk about last week. I just forgot like half of them. The Yang story. I know there's Transient Princess, who is, for people who don't know, that is a person who Yang was looking for. That's the fan name for the person who Yang is looking for at the in like the Yang trailer. So, do you think Transient Princess is Yang's mom or like the murderer? Because like in the story, it was like Yang's mom was like, my mom just disappeared one day, and we don't really know where she is. We don't know if she's dead or if like something happened to her.
I don't think it's murderer, because if the Transient Princess had murdered Yang, she wouldn't have said, we don't know what happened to my mom.
Well, like, I'm talking like at the time of like in the young Yang story.
Yeah.
Like, I think she said it was like at the time we didn't know what happened to her. I'm not sure if she still doesn't know or she knows what happened to her. Well,
she probably still doesn't know.
Yeah, so I guess it's not murder, but I think Transient Princess is in some way connected to Yang's mom.
And this is the fan name, right?
Yes, Transient Princess. I don't really know why it was called that, but the people are calling that person that name.
Okay, that's an odd name.
Yeah, I don't. Also, during that moment, there was I expected Bumblebee, and we had Bumblebee touchdown. I was like, during the moment when Yang and Blake are talking, I was like, it's gonna be a Bumblebee moment. I know it. I'm expecting it. Touchdown! That was literally me during watching the episode.
Oh boy, do I have something to talk about after this episode.
There's the eye, which Yang was drawing on the chalkboard. I have no idea what that is, but
so I'm gonna say that looks like a combination of everyone's symbol from that team, because it had the gears from Ozpin, and the crow, which I assume is Crow's symbol.
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably a combination of symbols. Maybe.
Well, she was drawing it, so she's connected to it in some way. But
yeah,
Crow was on her father's team and her mother's team.
Yeah.
So not an Ozpin. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have enough information for that.
Everyone start photoshopping all the RWBY symbols together.
Yeah.
Do it.
We had the Neptune Weiss
scene. What is the ship called? Blanking.
Yeah, so am I. I don't really pay attention to ship names except for like Bumblebee.
If this was last week, I would know it. And then Emerald and Mercury show up.
Yeah, so.
Oh wait, you totally skipped over the beginning of the dance. Wow, you don't care about this stuff at all.
Well, I'm like, oh, Blake shows up to the dance.
Yeah, okay. You
Bumblebee
really
dance.
You really don't. Okay.
Blake and Sun dance.
So
Osmond shows up and teaches a lesson to Ruby.
When we see
where's Neptune is like one of the first things I saw.
You're not even gonna talk about the dresses. Okay, so I got this.
No, I don't really care about dresses.
You don't care at all. I got this.
Okay,
I got
go
this.
ahead. I'm gonna do my homework.
Start doing your homework. All right, so within like an hour of the episode going up, I think at least for everyone, there was already a RWBY dress cosplay like that someone had done, like incredibly fast. It was ridiculous. But yeah, okay, so obviously the RWBY dress was a big thing. Everyone freaked out about it. And there was obvious focus on that. No one else between the three other girls got a panning upshot, so this is a big thing. Also, I think outside of her pajamas, the only time we've ever seen RWBY without her hood, which feels weird now.
I feel nothing.
It feels RWBY without her hood feels so weird, since she also wears it like as part of her school uniform. What else? So yeah, Joey talked about it. Sun and Blake go together. Everyone feels kind of odd that Weiss didn't talk to Neptune during that whole entire thing. So this all comes down to what I want to talk about, which is Tumblr, which some people don't know about this, and as well you shouldn't. Unless you go onto Tumblr, you wouldn't know about this, and I didn't know about this until people started talking about it on Reddit, in which people are starting to lose their ship because characters are heterosexual. So, Joey, you were talking about Bumblebee. If you can pull away from your homework for a second.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting.
You were talking about Bumblebee, and the hug and blah blah blah. So when you say Bumblebee and the shipping, what does that particularly mean to you?
Personally, like I don't really see the whole them like not. Listen, I have a different. Well, I don't really know, because it's like Bumblebee to me is more not really them dating, but like them having like really close moments together.
Okay, good. That's healthy. Now
like,
everyone,
yeah.
everyone else thinks that the shipping means that they are totally lesbians with each other. I'm totally quoting Scott Pilgrim.
Listen, what do you think happens in that dorm room, Brian?
So I was just seeing screen caps that said, "I can't believe I had a 4-way before I had a 3-way." So, the shipping wars apparently started happening on Tumblr, and people were getting angry that Weiss liked Neptune romantically and not RWBY, even though that there was never a romantic thing between RWBY and Weiss ever. All of that was platonic. Is easily seen as platonic, but people like to ship what they like to ship, and it's normal. But people were attacking Monty. People started to actually attack Monty for not making the characters heterosexual or homosexual. Sorry. And Monty even responded with a tweet saying "true love is earned" or something. I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially like true love has to be earned.
I was wondering what that tweet was about, but okay.
Okay, and it was because it was in response to everyone saying, "How dare you ship this person with this person?" Because it was obviously Blake and Sun and Weiss and Neptune. And people are freaking out about this because now their boats have sank and it's the dumbest thing ever. Okay, so I personally subscribe to a subreddit called Korasami, which is devoted to the shipping between Korra and Asami.
Oh yeah,
now,
that's totally going to happen.
Now I know that's not going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen.
That is a fleeting dream. Joey, you're going against my point right now. But, like, okay, your ship gets denied. Okay, you can freak out about that. This is a dumb show about fucking gods and fairy tales and whatever. Yeah, okay, whatever. Freak out about that. It's half of the fun. Don't fucking contact Monty and say, "How dare you deny my ship? You must be anti-gay for not making your characters gay." It is such a disrespectful and stupid thing to say. That's like the people that were attacking author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling.
People were attacking J.K. Rowling for making Dumbledore gay, but not because he was gay, but that he wasn't flamboyantly gay. That they wanted a token flamboyant gay character. Like, it is the dumbest thing.
I would argue that was Professor second year teacher. It was Gilderoy Lockhart. I'd say that was him.
I don't.
He was flamboyantly gay.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word for that. I don't watch Chronicles of Narnia or read them, so. Anyway,
one of these days.
Anyway, don't do this. Shipping is fine, but realize that your ship is also doesn't exist. Bumblebee is bullshit. Bumblebee doesn't exist, at least in the way that you want it to. Like, oh my god, it was so. Oh, I was reading this up and I was getting infuriated. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tumblr, why you do this? Why you fuck my mouth? Why you fuck Monty's mouth? And yeah, okay, so it's wrong of me to say Tumblr because it was probably other people from not Tumblr. But I'm just gonna say Tumblr just to keep it simple.
Oh, you're declaring war against Tumblr, eh?
Oh, come at me. I don't give a shit about Tumblr. Don't want to hear me talk about Tumblr. I can go on. Just the format itself is awful. But yeah, okay. So that's the episode.
Well, now I'm gonna get into my crazy theories.
I'm gonna start doing homework, and by homework I mean going out to Reddit and looking at Korasami.
So, this is my theory. Ruby and Yang's parents' team name is SGDQ, which stands for Summer Games Done Quickly, which we know. which we know that I know Monty likes the speedrunning community, or several of the animators do. So I'm just brainstorming on, like, because we know the S, we know the Q. S is Summer Rose, Crow is the Q, so we just need the G and the D. Also, I have another theory about Summer Rose, but the G and the D. So I got into this thing where Brian just sent me something, and I don't. Okay, Brian. So basically, what happened was, fuck. Now I've lost my place in my notes. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay, here we go. Father G names. I was thinking of that since their father, Yang and Ruby's father, is the brother of Crow. That they would have like similarly named names like Crow. So Crow is a bird. So I thought the father could be a bird type name, which is for G names. There's Gadwall, there's Gamble, there's like Gill, Gilla, Gray, Gunnison. Don't really know that last one, but and for D names, there was Downey, Dunlin, and Dusky. I don't really think any of those things are going to actually happen, but they might.
So you know that they
also
don't have to have names that fit like that.
I don't care. This is my crazy theories, Ryan.
Like
Ryan, these theories don't have to make sense. Now,
okay, keep going.
Anyway, let's Summer Rose. I'm not sure. I haven't really watched read these books, but there's these series of books, I think, by Jim Butcher, which is called The Dresden Files. And one of the first tweets I made after I watched episode 6 was like, I specifically went and was like, at Monty, are you a fan of The Dresden Files? Because I was just thinking, for some reason, I can't remember why anymore, but I was thinking that like Summer Rose was like a fae who was it's a fairy tale thing, who was a fairy, and I thought she was like a summer fae, and I can't really remember it. I just need more research on that. Anyway, let's move on. I have nothing to go on.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Stuff. So let's just start with 7.
Yeah. Dance Infiltration.
Scrolling down to discussion.
So,
okay.
Scene 1, port was sighted at 113.
Oh my god. How do you know the number?
I went back and specifically
You know,
looked
Black
for
was
it.
there too.
Yeah, I know, I saw him.
You know, Black was probably Port's partner.
Yeah, I could see that.
Should probably give him more respect.
Yeah.
Like noticing his existence.
I noticed his existence. I also know that he worships Professor Port. So.
Okay, so
I don't really.
Pyrrah and Jaune moment.
Wait, Pyrrah. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go to that one. Jaune moment.
All right, so I'm just gonna cut here until like Pyrrah and Jaune. Yeah. So, do you recall in the trailer, where you saw Pyrrah in her dress?
Yes.
So that was she just wearing a plain red dress like that?
I can't actually remember anymore.
For some reason, my memory was more like grandiose than that.
I would probably have to go back and look, but I don't remember.
And they totally re-edited that shot to make Jaune look like he was in awe of her dress, when it kind of wasn't like that during this episode at all.
Yeah, I guess. So. All
right. So, my whole takeaway from this, as we obviously know the implications of everything that happened, do you think Jaune totally knows that Pyrrha likes him at this point? Or do you think that becomes more of a friendship thing?
I think he definitely knows after this episode, yes. But
okay,
I will like either that or he's like the most idiotic person. It's like I'm gonna use a sexual metaphor here.
Read a lot of manga.
I'm gonna use a sexual metaphor here. Is like I had this metaphor planned out for right after the episode. It was basically like Pyrrha basically said, "Is like I like you," without really like the closest it's come to that without actually saying it. It's like
yes, but at the same time, girls have said, well, not to me, but I've heard girls say, "Boy, I wish I could meet a guy like you," to guys that they know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that because fuck it.
Okay.
I don't know that. So it just seemed like he was like Pyrrha basically said, "I like you," without actually saying, "I like you." It was like I don't know how to say it. It's just like it was so close, but yet so like not. It was I don't know. So I don't forget.
I'm gonna go with cliche manga / anime protagonist and say that he doesn't know.
Well, it seemed like at the time he's like, "Oh, do you want to dance?" So
yes, but that sounds like it was only because Pyrrha was sad. Pyrrah just...
It seemed like to me like he sort of realized it, and then he turned around to say it, and then
oh, yeah,
Neptune
you're right.
up.
That did happen. So he could straight up... Okay.
And then like later on, they had that dance number.
Yeah.
Back in.
Which is way more comedic than it has
so,
to be.
Next on my discussion list, Neptune and Jaune are bros now. I also...
Wait, hold on. Before we go on, do you recall in like episode 6 or something, we were talking about how Pyrrha has this weird attachment to Jaune, and I was like, they better explain why this happened, or else it was just I am immediately attracted to this dude. And there were even people in the discussion saying how it's not that weird, and I'm saying no, it's weird. Super amazing.
Yeah, which they explained in this episode.
Yeah, super amazing. Like girl does not.
Yeah, I think
for
in episode 5 we talked about this
for no reason. Yeah, so here it is, exactly what I wanted, and exactly what should have happened. Otherwise, it would have made no sense. Seriously, like think about it. Like
basically, Pyrrha is a celebrity who. Like, everyone knows who she is, everyone is in awe of her, and no one wants to approach her because everyone thinks that she has, like, probably some super amazing guy that she likes, or she's like, oh, we're not good enough for her, so she needs someone who's super amazing.
So, a while ago when I was saying about the writing, this is good writing. This was good setup. Mm-hmm. This was exactly what needed to happen, although a little cliche, still good.
Yeah.
So, totally commend, I almost said condemn, I commend them for setting this up and making us wait, and making me wait, because the payoff was good.
Yeah, I like the payoff.
The whole part of getting to know the characters before you start getting to know them more emotionally. It's good. Good writing.
Okay, so...
Yes, now, Neptune and Jaune are bros now.
I want to actually go into a crazy theory right now.
Okay.
Because I actually talked about it while you were gone, but I think we're just going to cut that part out. So...
God, editing this is going to suck.
Yes, it will, for you. So... for some reason, like, when I create my note list, I will stop episodes and just, like, start typing. I'll stop and start, just type, and, like, just going through the episode, so I won't watch the entire episode and then create my notes. So, at this point in the episode, I was like, okay, we know that Weiss and, like, Neptune turned Weiss down. Like, just from, like, basic things, because in the episode 6, we know that Weiss asks Neptune, and then suddenly they're not together at the dance. So, we find out that, like, Jaune finds out that Neptune turns down Weiss, and he's going to confront them, and then he sees Pyrrha, and then that whole thing starts. So, for some reason, I thought that, like, after Pyrrha leaves, and Neptune shows up, I was like, is Neptune gay? Yeah. Hold on. Because I was like, well, let's see. He turned down Weiss, who he seemed fairly into, but then he turned her down. So I was like, is he gay? For Jaune or Scarlet? And I was like, yeah, that's right.
Well, you, even after learning Scarlet is a guy, you were still on with that. They're probably dating.
Yeah, no, because it was just like a throwaway line, which was Sun was talking to.
Don't tell Scarlet. Yeah,
don't tell Scarlet, or like, I think he was like girlfriend or boyfriend was also thrown in there, but it was like, so I was like, they're probably dating. So, do you think? I was gonna like, one of my questions is like, do you think Neptune is gay for Jaune or Scarlet? So we found out that's not the case, and that was my end of the crazy theory.
You are not jumping to the conclusions. You are jetpacking to conclusions. Jesus Christ, dude! The dude was turned down a girl, and now he's not only gay, but he's gay for his.
For some reason, like I thought it was a cover. Like he was just like pretending to like girls.
Okay.
Like I was like recalling, like I was just recalling the library where like he like everyone is introduced to Neptune and he's like Ice Princess, and he's like he does that whole like finger point thing, and I'm like, is he pointing at Jaune?
Shut up.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on from that.
I got thrown off because I thought he was actually going to go for Yang, and that's why he turned her down.
No, I didn't see it. But I thought he was gay, so...
So the only thing I have about the dance thing is the fact that is Monty mocapping that dance so hard. It is the most obvious thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But especially if you watch his... I think it's called his G video, where he has like every character from fucking Final Fantasy dancing to some Korean song.
I did not see that.
Yeah, so I think it was on a podcast where Bernie was saying how it's weird that he watched that video and all he could picture was Monty doing the choreography, even though it was all these like half-naked girls on screen. And I totally get what he's saying now. In which
wait, who said that?
Bernie said that. I can totally see where he's coming from now. In which I see this choreography and it's done very well, and all these people are doing this in sync, and all I can see is Monty in a mocap suit.
I saw the very same thing. I was just like, yeah, Monty definitely did this. He definitely did this. So
okay, so start getting through some of these. I said Neptune.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
he finally got the courage from Neptune. Finally got the courage. Like, oh yeah, I can't dance. So
it was odd. It was suddenly odd that Weiss wasn't more like emotional about being turned down by Neptune, given her personality, whether she was down or angry or anything like that.
I feel like she shut herself off a bit.
Yeah,
so
it was kind of odd, and the fact that when Neptune came up to her and said that he still wanted to like hang out, that she didn't like scoff at that at all. I mean, I would say that this feels like character growth, but I mean,
she was like, I think she was like happy, but didn't really show it.
Yeah, especially since Weiss was the type of character that got everything she wanted. So
yeah,
it was kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, Weiss feels almost like a different character compared to season 1.
Yeah, I think she definitely is. No longer a bitch. So everyone knows this. It's not like anyone can deny it.
Yeah, I know.
So I also feel that Weiss is going to become much more appreciative of Jaune, just because.
Oh yeah, from that whole thing. Yeah.
So,
which is weird because essentially their relationship is over, and their current relationship of Ice Queen and guy who constantly asks her out.
Yeah.
So they have to establish a new relationship of Ice Queen and awkward friend, because that's what it is now. Because Jaune's definitely not trying to hook up with Weiss anymore, especially since he gave Neptune the go ahead.
Yeah. And
now knows about Pyrrha's feelings. So they're going to have a new dynamic, which will be interesting. Emerald and Mercury are legitimately there to watch if people leave the dance.
Yeah, so it was like, oh yeah, that was basically what they were there for. They were there to see, like, okay, does everyone have a partner? Oh yeah, everyone appears to have a partner, and except for Ruby, who didn't. I don't know. So
we're gonna talk about Cinder now.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Cinder. And Cinder's weapons and her purpose
it's
and her Black
obvious
Queen.
That Cinder is, because this was a little debated before, but it's obvious that Cinder is the person sewing dust into her clothes. Some people are debating that it was internal, but no, it's obvious that she does it with her clothes.
I mean, her clothes can transform. She might still have internal.
Oh yeah, but for the most part, especially since we see that information right before this. Her clothes can transform, so they actually have more purpose than just giving her fire.
Yeah.
Also, it seems like her clothes generate her weapons.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, I think I recall seeing holsters, but I wasn't sure if that was just a clothing or.
And I swear to God, when she kicks someone, I heard the Yang's iconic shotgun noise. Which made me I was looking at her boots for a long time to see if they had Neptune's thing on it, but I guess that just sound effect just happened. It was weird.
You mean Mercury?
Mercury, yeah, sorry, Mercury. Mercury's boots. So you say here that it is the first non-gun weapon. but then you must think of Jaune's sword.
Yeah, I thought, I was like, wait, no, it's Jaune. That's Jaune. Never mind. I was thinking about...
Or Cardin's mace that shoots shockwaves.
I thought that had like some kind of... Well, like, I thought it was... Oh, shit. Hold on.
From what I've seen during the Pyrrah fight... bless you.
That's a
From what I've seen during the
shockwave.
Pyrrha fight, all I've seen was that it shoots shockwaves when you slam it at the ground, and when you slam it at something, it does explosive damage.
For some reason, I was thinking of like it shot something out as well.
I just assumed the big red orb in the center is some giant dust crystal.
Okay, yeah. Let's just move on from that.
Okay.
So basically, Cinder's weapon was dual scimitars. When combined, make a
So you
bow.
say scimitars. You don't say scimitars.
I say scimitars.
Okay. Just gonna point that out. Go on.
Yeah, that's basically it. It was dual scimitars. When combined,
Then
make a bow.
So
Do you think it's anything else other than
Kilograms.
scimitar?
Probably not.
Because I was like, for some reason when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's a scimitar. But when I look up scimitars, it's like these long, straight swords. But I'm thinking of the swords from Aladdin, which people say are scimitars, but they're like a more exaggerated type of scimitar.
Probably. Weapons in RWBY are very exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
Cinder seems to be a trifecta of like kick-ass, in which she's got the fire, she's obviously very good barehanded, and she has a double weapon like everyone else.
You see, for some reason I'm like, oh, one of the things, when Ruby sees someone running on the rooftops, I want to point that out. That looked really bad. I just want to say that it.
Yeah, no, it did. There were a lot of bad, like, graphical things in this episode, but let's all handle that at the end.
Okay,
because
yeah,
there's more stuff we're gonna talk about.
That was one thing I noticed, but I'm like, okay, that's a cat burglar. I'm like, so that's. I was like, that's a cat burglar. It's probably Cinder. Didn't really confirm it. It was like it was confirmed, but so it was cat burglar, and I was like, then she started doing like the hand-to-hand fighting and stuff, and I was like, she's Black Widow now. So, and then we found out her weapon and stuff, and yeah.
So let's just get through all this so I can talk all this at once. Ruby sees what happens and does the thing.
Her weapon got there really quickly.
Yeah, and then Ironwood leaves, and then they almost catch her, and then she leaves. I
feel like for some reason that Ironwood didn't really see Cinder for some reason. Like,
no, he probably didn't.
yeah, so he thought like Ruby was just fighting, like she was just messing around or something.
Okay, so I really hope that Ruby gets in trouble, because this will be the first time that there's been consequences for her actions. Because it is obvious in the show that she constantly flies off the handle and does things by herself, and like even just attacking Torchwick without contacting anyone else, not even another team. I feel like there has to be some type of repercussion for all of these things they've been doing so far, and this is perfect. She gets in trouble for she sees a cat burglar, and instead of calling for backup or telling Ozpin or anything, she immediately just calls her weapon.
Yeah, I'm like, as soon as that, like, as soon as they pulled out her phone kind of thing, I was like, oh god, good, she's gonna call for backup. Then her phone, her weapon arrives, and I'm like, fuck.
I'm like, oh, you idiot, god damn it.
I was like, you're gonna be in an elevator, just call someone. You see a downed guard, call someone.
Yeah, she stole data. I don't know what the significance of the Black Queen is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still debating how the whole Black Queen is either Cinder or someone else, but it's looking more and more like Cinder for some reason.
Alright, so before we go into theories, let's just talk about the graphics in these past two episodes.
Hold on. I just want to talk about how stupid guards are. Like, literally, like, there's that elevator part where, like, the door opens and Cinder is just standing there. And the guard literally looks at her, looks at the people behind her, like, all the guards are down on the ground. And I'm like...
And just stand there.
Yeah, he just stands there. I'm like, you fucking idiot. What the fuck, man?
Oh, actually, I have one more thing.
And then she walks in and it was like, do something, goddammit, do something. Yeah, but that was it. That was pretty much it.
The one thing I forgot to talk about before we start talking about the last thing. How did you feel about Barbara's performance during the emotional scene during episode 6?
Good.
I honestly thought it was very bad.
Yeah, I'm not an emotional person.
No, I mean, just of the voice actors, I feel like it is the general consensus that Barbara's the worst one. Not saying that she's bad, but of the other 3 characters on the team, the Barbara's probably the worst one. I felt that was very evident in this and during this emotional part in which I feel there's so much strain on making her voice sound like Yang, because there are very subtle differences between Barbara's normal voice and Yang's voice.
Same thing with Weiss, I would argue then.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like there's much emotion pouring out, especially to facilitate what's happening with her eyes turning different color. And like, I felt that she was fine when she was angry. Like when she was pissed off at Weiss after beating up Torchwick's robot, that sounded fine. But her being like emotionally sad did not sound okay.
Yeah.
And I have to critique that. It was probably one of her worst performances yet. I don't know what happened. They were pressed for time, or they just thought that was good enough, but it just really didn't. Like Blake sounding sad. Blake's sad when she's like freaking out about Ozpin. Or God, I always do that. With Torchwick, it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty decent. And usually Barbara's performance is pretty decent. But that particular scene, which should have been her big scene, because as it's gone so far, Yang has not had a lot of emotional things or even story things with her character so far. It's been mostly focused around Ruby, Weiss, and Blake, and Jaune. That it was kind of disappointing that her performance was like that. I don't know. It's probably just me, but so far the voice acting hasn't been that bad. This was the only thing that was like, wow, that's not that good.
I just thought it was good. I didn't really notice. So
don't have an opinion.
Your opinion's wrong.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over that before I forgot. Yeah, I hope that she gets better. Obviously, she will get better the longer she does this. But yeah, it's just. So probably people hate me now.
I hate you. Don't worry, yeah? I do.
That happened before this podcast, though.
Yeah, I've always hated you.
All right, so let's get into graphics.
The only thing I saw that really bothered me was the whole Caterpillar Cinder running over rooftops, and it was just like, it looked 2D, and it just looked really weird, and that's pretty much it.
So Jaune's arms didn't freak you out?
When
Jaune's wearing the dress and you see his forearms for the first time? And they're just like...
No, not really. I mean, really? They look cel-shaded, I guess, but...
No, because, like, if you look at Ruby's arm... Not Ruby. If you look at any of the girls' arms, it's, like, smooth. If you look at Ren's arm, it looks toned. His arms look like you somehow took a vacuum, you sucked out all the air, and it's sticking to his bones. There are so many black marks to show his, like... that's not even muscle definition.
I saw that as cel shading for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that as oddly designed arms. Like, Ren's arms didn't look like that. I mean, I guess Ren is the only person you see their bare arms, at least in terms of guys. And none of the girls' arms look like that. But his arms look super, like, deformed. It just weirds me out how, like...
Yeah, I didn't really see it, so... Yeah.
Take a look at it after we're done with this, but like, yeah, man, it's weird. Yeah, that's the only thing I had in terms of graphics. More people probably hate us now.
More people probably hate you now.
Yeah,
but it's true.
So
everyone hate him now.
Talk about your last crazy theory. When I come up with a question.
Okay, so this is a really short crazy theory, but Cinder doesn't have a gun type weapon, and everything she is doing is in pursuit of the gun. That is it. That's all I have. I had the crazy theory about Neptune being gay, but we kind of debunked that. So, what? I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Yeah, so just go ahead.
I guess my question is actually a really simple one. Do you think Ruby should be in trouble at the end of this thing? Because, I mean, obviously the pros, she tried to defend something. It's on the side of justice, and then the cons of not looking for help, not relying on her team. technically breaking into something, even though at that point she just walked in. Do you think she should be reprimanded for this, or do you think, do you think they won't have such a negative reaction to this whole scenario? I'm totally on the side of she should totally be in trouble.
My question for the audience is, do you think Neptune is gay and he's actually in a cover, like he's using a cover to like Weiss? Also,
You're sticking to this so hard.
Also, do you think Jaune looks better in a dress versus a suit? What is your opinion on this? Additionally, Jaune has 7 sisters.
Yeah,
that actually explains a lot. That explains a lot.
Yeah, it really does. When I heard that, I'm like, oh wow. Another weird thing is, like, those weird, like, I don't know what they're called, but I see them on shirts all the time. I own shirts with them. The things on the shoulders of all the suits, with the buttons.
Oh, I used to have those in Boy Scouts.
But those things are designed for like military uniforms.
Yeah, they're designed for like you can hang like a slash or like gold rope or.
So it was really weird that they have like military uniform tuxedos during this dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just a weird thing I noticed. All right, guys. Next week it shouldn't be this bad, because
we're out of practice.
We are out of practice. But then also I will have a full day to get through this and not have to come home from work. So yeah, see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.